Good evening, everyone. I'm Rachel from Five Talents. The rest of our little team are here too. We're just 6 people. In normal times, we all sit round one big table in one small room. Obviously, we've not been able to do that for over a year now, but we are the lucky ones. We know that. We have jobs, we have homes to do them in. And not just jobs, but jobs we are passionate about. So for us, it's been quite easy to stay motivated through these long lockdowns, helped along by the odd little lockdown challenge we've set ourselves to keep ourselves smiling together. The best way I can explain what we do is by introducing you to one of our members. This is Lena from Aru in Dr Congo. Like most of her countrymen and women, she lived through the atrocities of civil war, she lived through Ebola, she lived through coronavirus. Until last year, she was really struggling to make ends meet by selling peanuts, literally selling peanuts. She would buy one big bag a week and sell it in the market for a small profit. Lena has never been to school. She doesn't know how old she is, and she's bringing up 7 children, 4 girls and 3 boys. Last year, Lena joined a Five Talents group, and the first thing she did with her group, along with 25 other women, was learn how to read and write and count. She said to us, "Before, I could pick up pieces of paper, but I didn't know what was written on them, and people would cheat me in the market because I couldn't count my money, but now I always know the total of my cash." And after Lena and the rest of her group had learnt how to read and write and count from their Five Talents trainer, they moved on to become a savings group. So little by little, week by week, month by month, they would save the small amounts of money they could in a box just like this one, all the while having business skills training from their Five Talents trainer. And when there was enough money in the kitty, they started making loans to each other to invest in their small businesses. And Lena borrowed £23 and she used it to buy 5 bags of peanuts as opposed to the one she was buying before. And she'd learnt from the business skills training that she didn't have to spend money on public transport to go to the market to sell it. Instead, she could sell the nuts door to door in the local community. So that's exactly what she did. And she made so much more profit that now all of her children are going to school. She said to us, "Before, the children would get sent home from school because we didn't have enough money to pay for books or uniform, and that disturbed my mind. It made me very sad. But after I joined my group, everything changed." Lena also used some of her profits to buy solar panels to put on the roof of that home that you saw so the children can study in the evenings. And she's buying some bricks so that she can build a permanent home. Five Talents has worked with 220,000 entrepreneurs like Lena over the last 20 years, and we're currently supporting more than 1,000 savings groups across these 8 countries. This diagram shows what the program model looks like. It looks a little bit different in every country where we work because each program is led by a local partner. That's really important. They know the local context, they know the local needs, so they can adapt it slightly. But each program and each member broadly follows these 7 steps, what we call the 7 steps to sustainability. And that's exactly the journey that Beatrice took. You can see Beatrice here near the start of her journey. She's standing outside her shop. You can see there's not much stock on the shelves. So with her first loan, she stocked up. And thanks to the business skills training, she identified which were her most profitable items, and she figured out that was milk. So with her next loan, she decided to cut out the middleman and buy a cow. And she calls this cow not just her business asset, but also her family's fridge, because there's always a ready supply of fresh milk for the children. Beatrice's cow is still giving milk. Her group is still saving and borrowing together, but Five Talents isn't supporting that group any longer. They've reached that 7th step of sustainability. They manage all their own affairs by themselves, and our trainers have moved on to start new groups in new regions. And our trainers and Five Talents have never told these groups what to do. It's not about building things that people don't want or giving things away that disappear. It's simply about unlocking the talents that people already have so that they can fix their own problems in their own way. It's easy for us to count how many members we have, how much they save and borrow together and so on. But these are the impacts we get really excited. What are people doing with the extra profits that they have? And as you can see from the graph, they're investing them in schooling, in better quality and more food, in buying medicine when they're sick. And we also know from our data that 84% of women say their household relationships and their status in the community improves as they become income generators and decision makers in their own right. Last year, some of our groups did have to pause during the pandemic. They've mostly all resumed now with protective measures in place, as you can see. And in fact, we've seen a huge upsurge in demand as communities see the value of having some savings for a crisis and see the value of small loans to kickstart businesses again after lockdown. And perhaps most of all, like all of us, see the value of a community to support you when times are tough. And that's why we're here tonight. We want to meet that demand. We will not succumb to lockdown lethargy, but we need your help. It costs just £24 to cover the training of someone like Lena in one of our programmes for a year. So if we raise £10,000 tonight, that will support 416 women and men to go through our training programme this year. And finally, this is really why we do it. Lena didn't go to school. Beatrice didn't complete school. Their children and thousands more children are in school now because their mothers joined 5 Talent savings groups. And that means those children will grow up to fulfill their ambitions, whatever they may be. That's what we all want, really, isn't it? For our children to meet their potential and to have more opportunities than we had. With your help, thousands more women and men will learn, earn, save and invest together to build a better future for themselves and their children.